You are tuned into the Tea Podcast S02 with Nigel the Voodoo Child.
What is up, tribe? It is your girl, and I am back with another episode of the Tea Podcast Call Center Edition. And today I have a little bit of a treat. It's not going to be about, relationships and stuff. It's actually mainly a treat because we're getting somebody from the IT department. And I feel like the IT department has the most tea in the office, in my opinion, because they could see everything.
We really do, and it's crazy because all the things we find out, it's really by accident or because we're just trying to do our job and just kind of follow upon some of the information. So yeah, we really do know all the tea. We service many different states, so we only have one call center from all these states that call into it. So we do have a chat center between all the different departments, but for the call center itself, we have I want to say a ticketing system.
Yeah.
And then we also are able to remote in if there's any issues. But usually most of the time, I'm usually in the call center, helping them repair their equipment.
Gotcha.
It's like a 24/7 hour type job. So sometimes I was working days, sometimes I was working nights. But yeah, it was some crazy stuff that went down between both shifts.
Yeah, I see you said that performance is a big deal where you guys are at too.
Yeah, so I used to work right next to, my cubicle was right next to the lady that did performance reviews. And I just used to hear stories about what people she used to talk about. and she was really petty. If she didn't like you, she was just gonna give you a bad performance review in general.
That is so she was basically the person that would listen to the call and be like, "Oh, you messed up."
Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize how deeply they be listening to the recordings. I really thought that was something HR does, but no, managers are listening to the phone calls.
Yeah.
The performance reviewers, people are higher up, if they feel certain things weren't handled the right way. There's a lot of phone calls I recorded in the call center, and I would be careful.
No, seriously, if anybody, when this does go out and people can hear it, if anybody out there, they can hear everything. I can't tell you how many times I've had people who were doing a good job and then just get a tap on the shoulder and they're like, I don't know, random girl named Brittany. Brittany, you said fuck on the line. And it's like, what? No, I didn't. And it's like, no, you did though. You don't realize people can hear you in the background. It's crazy. You can get fired.
It really is. And you can be on mute.
Yes, and they can still hear you. Yes, that's the tea. The customer can't hear you, but they can hear you. They can hear you on mute. That's so crazy.
It really scared me because I've been in IT for a minute, but this is my first job where I was really in, I didn't want to be in people's business, but it was part of the job.
Right.
They have to listen on to these recordings to make sure that people are doing their job right. Or if they have a lot of red flags, with cases not being handled correctly.
Exactly.
They need these recordings. Or if a customer tries to review something, they have these recordings. So I understand that, but sometimes some of these managers are just trying to listen in or just try to
be nosy.
Find something wrong with the person.
Right.
Yeah, just be nosy. And it was really, y'all have better stuff to be doing right now than to be trying to find something out or try to listen in on a conversation that someone else is having while they have their headset in. It was a lot of mess.
And then those scores mess with some people's paychecks too.
Mm-hmm. And your schedule.
And your schedule. That is so mean. Just I don't like her. C-. 3 points redacted. Damn.
Exactly. The performance review person, her daughter worked at the company as well. And so her daughter was just messy in general too. And people that her daughter didn't like, she would review badly. Even if they did a good job. Yeah, there was a lot that went into it.
How old is the daughter?
Her daughter, at the time, this was several years ago, so at the time, I think she was 28.
That is still, That's crazy. You too old to be doing this. Like, what? And the fact that you're over here fighting your daughter's battles and get in the middle of that mess is crazy. Like, that lady is wilding.
Mm-hmm. And, I would hear some of the stuff, and I just don't want to be near it. So I would try to, leave the cubicle. But there were times where people would try to, eavesdrop on her conversations as well. Like, they'll come up to her and just, gossip with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hear about a lot of stuff in the office. It's just straight politics. And I'm not a politician at all. I was working in IT because I wouldn't be able to survive a job like that.
Right.
Their schedule, I remember when scheduling days is so important to them. They say, quote unquote, that there's a pool that everyone goes into and everyone is randomly chosen to select their schedule.
Yeah, that's BS.
That's BS.
So straight BS. Straight BS. And notice, it's always the buddy ass people that be clicked up that magically have the same schedule. Okay. Because they'll just, what they'll do is because I used to do this too. I would not care. I would go to my supervisor and they would try to do that whole, oh, we're going to change the schedule and stuff. And they'll change it. And then I'll go right to my supervisor and be like, you know what time it is, right? You know I'm not going to be able to do this, right? I can't do it. That is correct. But to be so blatant, it is just, that's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. And I feel for certain people because they get stuck with a 12-hour shift schedule versus a 10 or an 8-hour shift.
Right.
Sometimes 12-hour shifts for 3 days a week versus 8-hour shifts for 4 or 5 days a week. And they have kids,
Yeah, and that works for some people, but I don't see how that could work. I always question those 4x10s, those type of schedules, because I know it sounds ideal when people are like, oh yeah, I would love to just work 3 days a week, but you have to be there. You're there. It's crazy. It's your whole day.
Mm-hmm. And they're so strict about you being on time. You can
right.
5 minutes off, or you get a mark.
What? 5 minutes?
Yeah, 5 minutes. Even during lunch breaks. I remember I was taking my lunch, and I was really cool with some of the people on the call center. They would just tell me about the phone calls they got.
Right.
But we were just talking and chatting, and then one of the floor managers came up to the person that, I was talking with, and they're like, your lunch break was over 4 minutes ago, right? And he was like, I was just waiting. He said, warming my food. I just sat down 10 minutes ago, and you're telling me to go back on the floor?
Right.
And so she was like, do you want to have this conversation out in here, or do you want to have it out there?
Ooh.
And so he just grabbed his food and left. It was too dramatic. 4 minutes.
The drama. And then, so you just sitting here watching me eat. You just sitting here clocking me. What? You had nothing else to do. No work to do. But just sit here. That is crazy. I've never seen anybody do that. The most I'll see is maybe a floor manager or a TL will see you in the break room and be like, all right now, you've been in here. You might want to hurry up. But to just blatantly be like, I've been watching you. You need to go back. Fuck your food.
Right.
Starve. What?
And they really be watching, not only abstinence during the workplace. There was one time where a guy was watching one of the other people, the callers, his social media. And I guess he had called off one day. And I think it was the same time around Halloween because he posted a picture of his kids going trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
And he had called off saying that his child was sick and he had to take his child to the doctor.
Oh my God. No, not the baby. And then, sir, you really think we're not going to know what you're doing? Your kid magically gets sick on Halloween, sir?
Right. And even if that's the case, it's not your place to be stalking his page on social media. This is why I don't follow none of my coworkers.
No, dead ass. That too. And then it's if I'm a call out, I'm not even about to tell you why. Because of that. Why are you snooping? That is so weird. Did he get fired for that, or did he just get the mark?
Well, here was the issue. So I was fixing that person's equipment. He came back and his equipment wasn't working. So that's how I found out about the situation. So me and him were just talking. He was telling me about his side hobby, it was something to do with wood. I don't remember the whole conversation.
Yeah.
But I remember his supervisor came up and he's like, so I saw on social media that you posted pictures of your kids last night trick-or-treating. I thought they were sick. And he wasn't quiet about it. He was yelling.
Oh my God.
So everybody around him, like, they were on phone calls, like, they were, like, doing their regular stuff.
So there are customers. There are customers in the back, like, damn, somebody getting chewed out, like.
For real. And I'm just, like, awkwardly standing there trying to, like, put the cord back into the monitor.
That's that stuff, though, like, I don't know if it was like this where you were at, but, like, that also goes into that performance where if they hear, where I used to work, if they would hear a TL in the back doing some shit like that, they would get in trouble. Like, because now you're interfering with multiple people's calls and messing with their scores.
I think that was the case because he was calling into the HR office.
Ooh.
And that's where my cubicle was near. It was near, like, the HR office, performance review, like, all of them. But I think he thought I reported him because he started acting shady towards me ever since that.
Yeah, like, happened. Sir, like, you didn't yell from the freaking rooftops. Like, that could have been anybody.
Girl, it was a mess. Like, it was a mess working there. I enjoyed my job because it paid well, but I'm glad that contract ended when it did.
So I'm glad that contract has ended. I saw that you said that people got caught stealing.
Yeah, okay. So we have, like, in our lunchroom, we had, like, 4 refrigerators.
Oh, Lord.
I got there. They didn't have any cameras in the lunchroom.
Oh, they're tripping.
So I just remember I was bringing in my food sometimes, but most times either, like, I would keep some of my food at the desk, or my boss at the time had a refrigerator in his room, his office, so I would put my food in his refrigerator.
Right.
So I didn't really have to deal with this issue, but when I brought, like, frozen stuff, like frozen breakfast burritos or, like, frozen ice cream sandwiches, I put it in the lunchroom. Well, I remember, like, some of them were going missing. Like, I was emptying the box pretty quickly. Like, I got, like, a 10 burrito box.
You brought the whole box?
I brought the whole box because
You shouldn't have brought the whole box. Now, you know that is like an invitation for every Dusty to steal. You brought the whole box. No, and I even
I was the only one.
I know, but it's like, I realize, and sometimes it's not even on no malicious stuff, but, like, the new people, like, when they first get hired, they just be assuming stuff is free, and, like, for them, like, I've peeped that. I'll be like,
oh, that's true.
Like, you can't just walk up and take somebody's stuff, and they're like, oh, well, it was out. Like, no. So they were stealing from the box. They were stealing from the box. Oh, my God.
I remember this one person, she sold tamales.
Oh.
Every, like, third Friday, like, it was a huge thing. Like, everybody went to her cubicle, would give her money, and she would bring the tamales on that Friday.
Oh, wow.
In the refrigerator. Someone stole half the tamales. So that was like...
And you can't even complain. Like, you can't even complain. Like, ma'am, why are you selling tamales at the call center? Like, you can't even complain.
Everybody was buying it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even the higher ups are coming down to buy her tamales. So it was like a welcome thing, but it's funny because to see that type of stuff at the call center. But she complained about that because, you know, people paid her money and she had to give back that money.
Mm-hmm.
And then when my complaint was food going missing, my supervisor was like, you know what, we need to update our cameras anyway. We just got our budget. So I'm just going to hire them to build out the cameras in the lunchroom. So we hired some people to come and add more cameras in the building, plus update the cameras we already had, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the camera was in a very, like, hidden place to where, like, if you didn't realize they put it in there, like, put it in the ceiling, you wouldn't have known. And we caught not one, but, like, 3 people stealing.
Oh my God. On, like, the first day?
It was within a week's time because we had to wait a little before we reviewed the tape.
Mm-hmm.
But we caught 3 people, and the funny thing was, one of these people were like, I don't want to say a director, like assistant director. Like, they had no reason to steal.
Like, why are you stealing? You make more money. Like, you could buy this whole fridge more times over, and you go steal somebody's life.
Girl, I guess it don't matter.
It don't matter.
That's the job.
Right. Trifling is just trifling. Like, how you just gonna steal somebody? That is like the worst feeling when you think you got something to eat and then you go in there, there's nothing.
It's gone. I would be heated.
Me too. I would be so pissed. Oh my God. That is a mess.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, I can't think of any other stories other than that, but it was definitely a crazy ride. I've heard customers cussing out other people, and then like, I remember one person just got up and just left and never came back.
It'd be like, that's some time.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I'm over it. I'm out. I can't do this. It's a lot. It's a lot when you got people yelling at you. Did you ever have people, because I would always see this at my old job, would you have people that would always try to like come to you directly to try to skip the channel of command and like try to like get stuff done?
Yeah, I think a lot of people want like extra equipment, and you know, being in IT, we're the people that purchase, you know, the new inventory, whether it's new laptops, new monitors, new keyboards, and all of that. And so when I first got there was a lot of people that just came to me, you know, just introducing themselves, and that's normal when you start a new job. But what I realized is that they were really trying to get on my good side, so they can get stuff from me. Yeah,
get some laptops. Yup.
Right. Like the wireless headset. You know, only certain select few get wireless headsets. You know, or like the newer nice keyboards with the pad on it, you know, on the front where you put your wrist on. Nah, you're getting the used keyboard that we give to all of the other workers here. It was stuff like that. And I do remember one time, like, there was a need for us to replace all of the phones because we were changing out how we do our phone system. And so I had to go through every desk and take them all out and put new ones in. And there was this person that claimed that I broke their stuff.
What?
So they can get new stuff. They said that I broke their keyboard and it no longer works and they deserve a new one. And thankfully those cameras were there. And it showed that they just, I don't know what they did to it, but they took it home and they brought it back and it wasn't working after that. So.
Now, so they take stuff home.
They shouldn't be able to.
They really shouldn't.
This one person did, and I don't know what he did to it, but it wasn't working. But he did get in trouble. He's still working there, I think. I don't know why he reported me. I was like, why would he even lie about something like that?
Yeah, that's so random. And then it's like, if anybody were to break a keyboard, it wouldn't be the person they pay to fix and distribute keyboards. Like, so weird.
Right. It's girl.
It's so crazy.
Who knows what his intentions were? It might be a racist thing too because of where I'm at, and me being a black woman in IT. You know, I deal with racism, sexism, like. So it could be a combination of all three. He felt like he probably could take advantage of the situation,
right?
And then tried to blame it on someone that he felt like could get away with it.
Over a freaking dusty old keyboard. He should be ashamed of himself. Right. He should be ashamed of himself. I'm trying to think if I have any more questions for you since you're in IT. I'm trying to think. So you said that there have been times where just by accident, you know, you get on someone's computer and you see something by accident. Has there ever been a time where, like, you just saw, like, some major tea and you were like, yeah, I'm just going to keep that in the vault? Like...
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I do have some major tea. So there was this one time where I had a remote in and make sure that the software was up to date because it wasn't connecting with their phone calls. Because when someone calls in, their information is supposed to pop on the screen, and then, you know, they should be able to see the address, you know, and everything that's connected to the, you know, utility service.
Right.
So it wasn't connecting, so I remoted it in, and she had left for her lunch. Well, a message came in on, like, the team chat of someone, and I just saw, like, a lot of, like, eye emojis and, like, laughing emojis or like, hey, meet me in the stairwell.
Oh, God.
Like,
No. Did you see who it came from?
it came from we had like a front desk person.
Mm-hmm.
So it came from her husband.
Oh my God.
And because her husband works at the same company too.
That is so bad. And this is obviously not her. This is another girl.
It's another girl.
Oh my God.
I made the message unread. So when she came back, she didn't see that I read it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm surprised no one had caught on, or maybe they did caught on, but they didn't. HR wasn't trying to cause any drama since it was a front desk person, and because that husband, he works out in the field. So they're both important people in the company.
My gosh.
Girl. Oh, and I didn't understand why the front desk lady didn't like her, because there were times I would come in and talk to the front desk person. She was very cool.
Yeah.
She was a Southern Belle. We would laugh and talk about many things, and she would thank me for helping out her husband and stuff. And I remember one time that girl forgot her badge, and if you don't have your badge, you can't usually get in unless the front desk person lets you in.
Right.
She told that girl to go back home and get her badge.
Oh my gosh, she ain't even give her a sticker or nothing. She said, go home. So she knows.
Go home.
She knows.
Yes, she probably does, but yeah, that was something. I obviously there's arguments of them talking about their supervisor or how they can't stay in the job, normal stuff like that. But yeah, that was one of the major keys that I saw.
That I wouldn't even be able to look at them the same. I would just be like, oh God, this is just so bad. Jeez.
I couldn't look at her husband in the face after that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I would feel so awkward. I'd be like, sir, you're dirty. I know what you do. I know you. I know what you're doing.
What really goes on
behind the scenes.
If anybody's out there working at a call center, be careful.
Right.
That's all I gotta say.
Right.
You are tuned into the Tribe Tea Podcast, Season 2 with Naja the Voodoo Child.